Good morning. How are you? I hope you are well. My name is Stephanie, and this is Learnology's free tutoring. So please post your questions in the chat. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to show up. And in the meantime, so I had a factoring question the other day, and the factoring question was based on difference of squares. So we had 81 minus a squared and 4. So the only way we can do difference of squares is to basically make sure both of these are perfect squares, and both of these are perfect squares, and we take the square root of each one, and so we'll start with that. So the square root of 81 is 9. The square root of a squared n to the 4 is just how many groups of 2 can you make with 2? So that's 1. How many groups of 2 can you make with 4? That's 2. And so now we have these guys. And all you have to do is set up the difference in the brackets. So we have 9 plus an squared, 9 minus an squared. All right? One's positive, one's negative, and that's because we don't have a middle term here. So difference of squares happens over a binomial. All right? So let me know if you have any other questions. .2, okay, yes we can. Let me just bring that up. 5.2, okay. So, give me 1 second, just bringing that up now. Um, 5.2. The back page of that is all GCS stuff. So which one? Oh, I see. Okay, that's what's going on. All right. So when we have, so let's start with GCS stuff in general. So we have, I don't know, 15 a squared b to the 4 plus 30 a squared b to the 6. So let's just take something basic, okay? So to get the GCF, which is the greatest common factor, you have to think about what is the highest number that can divide both into 15 and to 30. So what is it? So it should be 15. Okay. Then you have to figure out what are the letters that they have in common. So here we have 2 A's and we have 2 A's. So they have, okay, well, hang on, let's go back. So the number, it's so, yes, 5 does divide into 30 and 15. Sorry, 15 and 30, it's true. But 15 is the highest number that can divide. So not just a number, it's going to be the highest number. Okay, because otherwise we'd have, I mean, if you started with the 5, you're going to do GCF factoring, but then you'll have to do it again. So if we don't want to do it twice, we have to find the highest number to begin with. Make sense? So 15 divides both into 15 and 30. Okay, and now for the a's. So again, we have a squared and a squared. It's the exact same. So I'm just going to take that out. And for the b's, I have b to the 4 and I have b to the 6. So what is the most amount of b's they can have in common? What do you think it is? Type it in. So one has 4, one has 6. What is the most they can have in common? Okay, all right, no problem. So I got 15a squared, and then I'm looking at b. So I got 1b that's the 4, 1b to the 6. The most they can have in common would be b to the 4. Okay, and then we open up a bracket. So this, I didn't take anything away. So because they both have a squareds, I can just write a squared. Like if this one was 12, then I would still write, I would have a squared because the most they can have in common is 2. Does that make sense? So it's what do they have in common? Okay, so they both have a squares in common, so I can put a squared down here. Then for the b's, they both have at least 4 b's in common. So I'm writing b to the 4 here. Okay, and then I ask myself, what times 15? What times 15 will give me back 15? It's 1. There. 1. And then the a squared, I already have a squared, and I already have b to the 4, so I only have to put 1 there. Because when I multiply this guy by 1, I'm going to get back the exact same thing, which is what I want for my first term. Okay? Then I ask myself, 15 times what is? So it should be 2. So 15 times 2 is 30. Then I have a squared here, so I'm just going to have a squared. I don't have to put anything there. I have b to the 4, and I have b to the 6 here. So because this is b to the 6, I need 2 more b's to get there, right? So b squared. So when I multiply 15a squared b to the 4 by 2b squared, I'm going to get, so, well, there's no a because I already have it, but the b to the 4 plus 2 is going to give me b to the 6, which is what I want. So that's your GCF factoring. So type me that it's okay if it is, and then I'm going to go to the other page. Go to the page in 5.2. Let me know it's okay. And if it's not okay, let me know that you have a question, or I can do another one. Can you get it? Okay. Something similar to the page that you're talking about. It would be, say we had 5x minus 1 plus 6. For the last one, yeah, we broke it up. Yeah. And then so this one, you can multiply these through and then factor from there. However, it's going to be a different type of factoring, and that's not what they're looking for the page that you're referring to. So for this page, they're looking for GCF. So what do they both have in common? So if I look at this as a term, and I look at this as a term, what do both of these terms have in common? I'll wait for you to answer. The video keeps buffering. Okay. So there's the equation. I just typed it out for you. Hopefully that helped. So they both have, I'll do out the question. I know you've bumped offline. I'll do out the question, and then you can check back on our YouTube page, and it'll be there for you. Okay? So they both have an x minus 1 in common. And so that is going to be your GCF. So you're going to have x minus 1. Because they both have it in common, my GCF is x minus 1. All right? So then all you need to do is what times x minus 1 will give me 5x minus 1. So that would just be 5. Okay? So if I take this and I times it by 5, I'm going to get this term back. Then, if I take 6x times x minus 1, I'm going to get that one back, that term. So 6x. And so you can kind of see here what really happened is that basically the 5 and the 6x came here, and then your GCF went out here. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, so again, what did they have in common? We found out that they had x minus 1 in common. And then we said, what times x minus 1 will give me 5x minus 1? It's 5. And what times x minus 1 will give me 6x minus 1? So that's 6x. Yeah? And of course, to check it, meaning you could multiply this all through, multiply that all through, and then you'll get what you get, right? So, yeah, so make sure when you're saying that they have the greatest common factor, it is going to be this actual term. You can take a whole term. It doesn't have to just be one letter or just be one number. You can have a whole term, okay? So that should clarify what was on the back of your booklet. Okay, so one more time, you ask yourself, what do these two terms have in common? So they both have x minus 1 in common. That the GCF does not have to be a number, a letter. It can also be a full polynomial or binomial, right? So it can have an x minus 1 both in common. All right? So since they both have an x minus 1 in common, I said that is going to be my GCF. Right? And then, so what times x minus 1 gives me 5x minus 1? That's going to be 5. Okay, so x minus 1 times 5 is going to give me 5x minus 1. Then, what times x minus 1 is going to give me 6x minus 1? That 6x. Yeah? So then I can just put these two together to give me back that term. All right? And so then what was I saying, just to draw a quick connection, you may notice that your GCF is just what they both have in common, which is always, right? But then also you can notice that the 5 and the 6x are the exact same right here. The 5 and the 6x are the exact same right here. Yes, and the GCF does equal x minus 1. Yeah. So I'll give you a second just to copy that down or ask any more questions. So let me know if you have any more questions. Yes, did. So, okay, so formulas for DDT, right. Okay, so there's 2 ways to actually do the DDT stuff. One's through concentration. And there's another one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually text you with that right away. Did you have any more math questions right now? Because the only reason that I have to check your science book just to ensure I give you the right one, because there's multiple ways. But beyond DDT, do you have any other questions? Look that up now. No, you're good. Okay, awesome. All right. So let me just finish getting that. I just got to grab your book. That's all. Because I just want to make sure I give you the right one. So I will, because I know who you are, I will give you a call later today with that, or as soon as I get off YouTube. All right. And so if you have no other questions, and it doesn't look like anybody else has any other questions, I'm going to sign off now. And again, if you do, please contact us anytime at learnologyzone@gmail.com or direct message us through YouTube or Facebook. Thanks.